We're here. We're back. Welcome everyone into our episode. We're very excited to be here and be back with you for another week. Mandy, how are we doing today?
Hi, Imani. I'm doing excellent, but I think the more important thing to share is that you had a birthday.
I did. Yes. Yes, I did.
So
So
happy birthday.
thank
If
you.
I
Thank
had the sound effects like you did, I'd do like a,
you.
like a little whistle or something. Do you have any
Yes, yes.
happy birthday? Can you give yourself a happy birthday, something or other there on that oh, claps. Okay.
Clap work. That's all I have.
The
Like I have the Jeopardy. Oh, I can do snaps too.
oh snap, yeah.
I can do snaps. Yes, I can
I
do that.
like that. I
You
like
know,
that.
I
That's
have lots
fun.
of stuff and everything, but those would work there. Those would work. Yes.
Pancakes. Did you do pancakes for your birthday?
So what happened is that the day before my birthday, Saturday, it was someone else's birthday, and I went to their party, and they had breakfast food as a theme for dinner. So
Oh,
I got a
fun.
waffle there, and then I said, okay, I'm not
Okay.
gonna go back to back waffle and pancakes. So I went and got a breakfast sandwich yesterday at this new restaurant, which was cool. And then I went to get ice cream yesterday night, which I very rarely get, so that was a treat. And then this coming weekend with a group of friends, then I'm gonna go to pancakes then. So it's like, dude, I'm gonna celebrate for a couple weeks anyways. So that's kind of the
As
plan.
you should. As
Yeah,
you should, Imani.
yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you were born. And the world,
Thank
the
you.
world is so much better with you in it. And I'm glad that you're celebrating with your various sweet treats. You deserve
Yes,
that.
yes, I'm excited. Then I have to decide what three things am I going to buy myself for the birthday. So something small, something medium, something large, perhaps. So we'll see. I'm still working on that too.
Is there anything on the final docket or anything on your mind?
I think I'm going to get myself a couple new pairs of Crocs. I like that. So that'll be
Okay.
one thing there.
Okay.
That's something small. And
Okay.
then I don't know about the other things. We'll see, because I did kind of swear off no big electronic purchases for the year. So I
Well,
need
I
to
remember
stay.
that because last year you did a couple big ones. I
Yes, I did
remember
a
that
couple big
you
ones.
like your digital stuff. So
Yes. So, and I'm doing well 9 months through the year. So I just want to, so I got to figure out the other things, but we'll see what comes up. We'll see what comes up.
what about birthday resolutions? Do you have any
So
goals for
I was
yourself for the next 365?
maybe the next mini we do can be like, 10 things that I learned this past year or whatever. I think goals is
Oh,
to do more, like keep up with the cardio exercise and do more strength. That's a big goal. That's probably at the top of the list, more strength exercises. Um, Besides that, like obviously, worry less is always a theme. So really trying to work on that. I'll see what else. I'll come up with a list of goals, but those are the two that come to mind right away. And then, because I try to separate outside of business goals. So yeah,
that's good. That's good. Your whole self, your whole Amani self.
this is true.
Mhm.
Yes. Now, I think
Yes.
it's time for us to bring our guests in. What do you think?
Go for it.
Go
Go
for
for
it.
it.
Okay, so we're
I'm
gonna
gonna go
bring.
close to
We
the
have
screens, our
yes,
special
yes.
guest for today.
Right.
I'll
So
go
our
close to the
special guest
screen.
is a skin
Okay.
expert. Talk about how this beautiful skin can help you more ways than you might think. We're also going to ask questions about business and how to grow it just from a medical way. So what we're going to do is, I find my little clips here. We're going to bring Dr. Mina to the stage and welcome her with a round of applause. So she is, and
Hi, Dr. Mina.
so,
Hey
welcome to
guys.
the show. We're happy to have you here, and we have lots of questions. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Mina through our Brand Builders Group community, and now we're here talking about all things skin. But maybe, because I know there's more to you than just skin, maybe if you could tell us who is Dr. Mina in 30 seconds or less.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, happy birthday. I
Thank
didn't
you.
know that. So,
Yes.
very exciting. And yeah, so I'm a dermatologist. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And a couple years ago, I started a podcast because I was turning 40 and I was noticing some changes in my skin. My friends were asking me about changes in their skin. It was like all of a sudden something changed. And I realized when I went online, there was just a lot of really bad information out there. And I thought, where are all my dermatologists? Like, we need to be giving some good information. So I have been doing that. It's called the Skin Reel, and hopefully, it's educational for people. I know it's hard to get in to see a dermatologist. The visits are quick and rushed, and so hopefully, this is a way for people to educate themselves beyond just when they're at the clinic.
Nice, nice. Now, what do you feel are maybe three of the most common myths about dermatology and skincare that you always have to address?
Ooh, three of the biggest myths. Well, I feel like social media has a lot of good things that come of it, but it also just amplifies a lot of nonsense. And I have some tweens. And so I'm like, oh, wow, now we're doing our face in ice cold water. Or now we're doing, they keep me updated on what the latest trend is. But I think it's just following trends, especially that have zero merit. They just kind of go viral and blow up, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I need beef tallow. Oh my gosh, I need to be doing snail mucin or whatever it is, right?" And I'm not saying all the trends don't work or they're bad. Um, there is some validity to some of them, but it's just they're just amplified and maybe overpromised. So the
Mm.
trends is a big one. A lot of misinformation. There's a lot of distrust and there's this sort of like movement. I feel like for almost like anti-establishment, taking it back to how we used to live and natural and all of this, which I can get behind. I understand that sort of sentiment. Like sometimes the world just seems crazy, and if only we could go back to a simpler time. But and if we have to also remember back then we didn't have antibiotics, we didn't have vaccines, like people died early. People will say, how did they treat skin cancer back in the day? I'm like, people didn't live long enough to have them. Right. So
Mhm.
I think just combating misinformation or this sense like going back, being more natural, like that's automatically better and healthier. And just trying to balance those things. So I get where it's coming from, but it's not always the better choice.
Understood. Mandy, where do you want to go from here? Because I know you have some questions.
I do. Okay, Dr. Mina, you on your podcast and just in your practice, you talk about one of my favorite topics, perimenopause. So I
Yeah.
have questions about perimenopause and skin because I'm 50, just turned 50. I've been in perimenopause since I was 40, and I'm almost to my day of menopause, right? So
Yeah.
I am lucky. I haven't had skin issues. I've had every other perimenopause issue, but skin isn't one of them. But a lot of my girlfriends have like experienced all these weird things like acne that they didn't expect to have, or like really dry skin, or like weird twitches, or spots, just things that like itching, just things that they never had before. So, what should we know about perimenopause and skin? And I'm sure I'm going to have a couple of follow ups to
Oh my
this.
gosh. I love that you asked this because yeah, I'm 45, right? So I am like um I feel like this is something that we're starting to finally hear about, but a lot of people don't know about it. We hear about menopause, And people don't realize menopause is one day. It's
One
one
day.
day,
Mhm.
right? We talk all about, are you in menopause? Are you, no, it's like, really the more correct terminology would be like perimenopause or postmenopause, right? Because
That's
those
right.
are the stages that you live in. And I get it. I actually feel like dermatologists, we need more education in this, because patients may come to us first, that where they're noticing, oh, my skin doesn't look good. I feel like my face just fell. My skin is crepey. I'm getting growing whiskers. Like I'm having to shave like my husband. and
Mhm.
and they may not link that to perimenopause if their periods aren't super erratic and things like that. So a lot of work needs to be done. There's a huge stigma about it. I feel like even I'll still have patients, if I'm asking them about their periods or suggesting they might be nearing menopause, they get very offended because they think, oh,
Mm.
that means I'm like old. I need to be put out to pasture. Like I'm no longer vibrant. So I think we need to like do a lot of work reframing that. I feel like finally talking about it is helping. I never thought a couple years ago I'd be openly on live, streaming, talking about perimenopause, admitting that I too am getting older. But yeah, lots of stuff goes on. It's a confusing time because your hormones are all over the place and everyone has different symptoms. It's not like everyone gets the same. They experience it in different ways. They have different challenges. Some may have skin, some may have other issues. So it can be quite variable. But yes, I do feel like dermatologists are part of your should be part of your like core group of physicians who can help you through this period, because it can be very challenging and discouraging. And I feel like as women, we get really distraught. We feel like we're losing a part of ourselves rather than thinking about how we're actually see this as maybe an empowering time that we're coming into.
Yeah, we're just hitting like phase 2. We're just
Right,
growing into
right,
something. Yeah, we're growing
right.
into something.
Version 2.0, that's all.
That's right. Heck yes. Okay, so I have a question about that. So my husband and I have this joke. I have this like this crazy one hair that grows out of here. My husband calls it the Aunt Pam's because I used to have an Aunt Pam who literally had chin hair.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
he'd be like, "You got an Aunt Pam." So like that started probably around like 42, 43. So what are some of those symptoms that women can pay attention to, ask their dermatologist about, or do some at home stuff, or maybe some pre-care stuff that can protect them as they're going through those phases?
Yeah. Well, I would say probably the first thing people, one of the big things people notice is their skin becomes more dry, and they also notice more fine lines and wrinkles. And the skin, if you like squeeze your skin, it's no longer like nice and supple. You get the like crinkling. So I think people start noticing that. Yeah. Let me show you my
Practicing.
neck.
I'm practicing. I'm practicing. Yeah.
The neck seems to be a big one. The skin there's really thin. So that's where all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, we spend so much time focused on our face. And I think
Yeah.
people forget their neck, and then they see a picture of themselves and they're like, wait a minute. But what you're describing with the chin hairs or the Aunt Pam's, that's called hirsutism. And it's not uncommon, right? I mean, I think as women, we find that super embarrassing. Like we have to shave or pluck, but it's fairly common, and it's because of our imbalance in hormones, where our testosterone is relatively higher than our estrogen and progesterone, and that's why we get those. And some people are more androgen sensitive than others, and can get those. Same thing with like the peach fuzz on the face. So some women, they may not have those dark hairs, but they'll get that fuzz, that peach fuzz. Hard to put their makeup on. When the light hits it the right way, they look kind of fuzzy, and so they'll dermaplane their face. So that's all super common. But it's everyone wants to get to the root cause of everything. The root cause is your estrogen and hormones are all over the place. Some months high, some months low. Your relative testosterone can be high at times comparatively, and that's what's going on. So it's just this roller coaster ride.
Okay, I love it. And then, Amani, I'm going to take a couple more here because we're on the lady talk. So, how much does water come into play? Water consumption come into play with how bright or clear or clean your skin is?
So water consumption is amazing. I recommend it, right?
Mhm.
Most of our body is made out of water, but there's this misconception that if you drink enough water, your skin will be hydrated. You have to tackle it two ways. You've got to drink water so your body is not dehydrated, so that your skin looks healthy from that regard. Because if you're dehydrated, your skin is not going to be supple. But really, you need a moisturizer. So you do need to topically apply a moisturizer to lock in. That water that you're losing, which does happen as we lose estrogen. We also lose water from our skin surface. So drinking water, always a great option. I got mine here. I find I'm super thirsty all the time. But you can't just drink water and not apply anything to your skin. You also have to do a moisturizer.
Okay, I love that because I hear that. I hear that so much where people are like, "Just drink more water," or "I drink so much water, but I still have this." So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
for busting that myth.
Yes.
It's a two-pronged process.
Exactly.
Now that we're talking about moisturizer, what's the right order of operations from washing your face to toner to moisturizer to serum to sunscreen? Like, what is the right answer there?
Oh my gosh, I get confused too. So this is why I say keep it simple. I'm trying to think if I've ever met a dermatologist who's like, oh yeah, I use 10 products. If you're using that many, you can't keep track of the order. You're doing too much. So the first thing is to cleanse your face. In the morning, I just use water because I don't feel like I need a cleanser, but you certainly can use a gentle cleanser. And then you want to go from thinnest to thickest. So if you're using a toner, which honestly, I don't know why people use toners. But if you like one and you use it, that would come next. But usually what I do is I start with my antioxidant serum in the morning. It's really light, it's thin. Put that on first, and then I do my moisturizer, and then I do sunscreen. And honestly, my sunscreen is pretty hydrating, so I don't even do the moisturizer. So it's like my antioxidant serum and then my sunscreen. If you have medication, like maybe your dermatologist gave you a steroid or something for rosacea, you do want to think of putting that closer to your skin than farther away. So then I would do my serum because it's the thinnest, and then I would put my medicated prescription creams on, and then always the last step should be sunscreen, really.
Okay,
Every
thinnest to
every
thickest.
yeah, thinnest to thickest. Yeah, it's funny. My son is 11. He gives me a lot of material, and he's really into his skin. And he was doing his beauty routine at night, and he put on like 8 different things. And I said, "Oh, well, tell me what you put on." And he's like, "I washed my face. I did this. I put Aquaphor on. Then I did this." And I was like, stop. Like, if you put something thick like Aquaphor on, there's no point in doing anything on top of that. Nothing is getting through that. So you want to think about something really thick and kind of a protective barrier like Aquaphor or Vaseline. Like that goes on at the very, very, very end if you're going to do it.
Got it.
Interesting.
Pro tips. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really it should, you should be doing 3-4 things max. If you're doing more, see an expert who can help you pare it down. You don't need that many.
What are some things that men miss when they're thinking about doing their skincare routine?
So I think for a lot of guys, they don't even think they need one, or they will use one, maybe they just use like their shampoo to wash their face, or they use their bar soap to wash their hair. Like there are products that do all in one. And I'm not totally against that if your skin isn't irritated. But I think the first step is that skincare is healthcare, really. It's not just for women. It's not just beauty and aesthetics. It's actually keeping your skin healthy, right? It's skin health. So knowing that you do need to wash your face is number one. Using a cleanser. It could be the same cleanser you wash your whole body with. I don't have a separate one for my face. You don't have to have multiple products. I think that men don't really like that, having to have lots of different things. That you don't need moisturizer and sunscreen. I know. So for guys, if you're shaving, you have got to put like a moisturizer on after you shave. It doesn't have to be after shave. Sometimes that can burn. I know it kind of smells good, but really after you shave, you should be locking in the moisture with a moisturizer, hyaluronic acid, something like that that's hydrating, especially if you're prone to getting those little irritation bumps on the skin. And then sunscreen. I think a lot of men think, oh, I don't work outside, or if you have darker skin, I don't need to wear sunscreen, or I just need to wear sunscreen if I'm golfing. Um, and and so they won't wear it. So I think men just need to realize skincare, keep it really simple, keep it basic, but you should do a couple of things like moisturize, especially after you shave, wear sunscreen, and be sure to wash your face.
Got it.
And
Okay.
for God's
Well,
sakes, wash your face, man. Like,
Yes,
yes,
at a minimum,
yeah,
wash your face.
yeah. So I want to kind of shift to the business, because to talk about your business, I'm curious as to what has been the key for you to grow a successful practice when there's so much competition, both within dermatology, but then these influencers who think they're dermatologists. How have you still been able
Right.
to grow?
Yeah. So I guess I think of it kind of in two ways. So I do have a brick and mortar practice here in Atlanta, and we're predominantly a referral base. We do a lot of skin cancer surgery, procedurals, and really the it's a little tricky because when I started, like all these people are like, do you want to go see the guy who's been doing this for 15 years or the brand new person? Right. So it was
mm,
about building relationships with not just my patients, but the referring doctors, letting them know my work. But I think if the bar, unfortunately, in healthcare is so low, there's just so much. I'm not saying like people don't want to do well, but the morale is so low in healthcare. People are overworked. They're mistreated by either their employees or patients can be quite rude and mean at times. And so it's not always like a happy place to work. People when they're sick or scared aren't always at their best. But I feel like in my practice, we always get told, wow, you guys are really happy. I hear
mm.
laughter. A real person answers the phone. I call my surgery patients at night. Like these little things, they just don't happen anymore, right? It's like you feel like you're a number when you go to the doctor sometimes, and you wait and you wait, and you've got a quick visit. Like nobody's enjoying this experience, right? On all sides. So I think just trying to put the humanity back into it a little bit. I can't change the system. I can't change insurance, but I sure can be kind and nice and smile. And I can have my staff make sure they try to establish a relationship with you and get to know you and ask about your grandkids' baseball game when you come back. Like little things like that, just realizing we're all human. And especially when you've got a diagnosis like a skin cancer, or you're scared about something, or feel very defeated because you've got some sort of skin issue that's very public facing. I think just having someone smile at you and feel like they're listening and take their time, that goes a long way. And I think my practice here does a really good job of that, to kind of remember we're taking care of people and human beings. And even though the system kind of sucks in a lot of ways, we can still be our best self. And I think that helps us stand out, because patients will always just comment like, I was so scared to come here, and you guys just made me feel good. So that's kind of how I approach it with my medical practice. I think about the book too, Unreasonable
Ah,
Hospitality,
yes, we're gonna ask
right?
about that.
And
Yeah.
just giving, people don't expect me to call them at night to check on them. And so when that happens, they're like, wow. And then they know, okay, I've got your phone. I can call you, I can text you if I have a problem, if I really need you. And that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. And then to then like the podcast and social media and all that. I mean, it's hard. Like I don't have a huge following, right? And that's not even really what I'm after. I hope I can just help people who really are committed to having healthy skin and cutting through the noise. And sometimes the person making the loudest splash isn't always given the greatest information. And I guess I'm not trying to convince people to follow me or to listen to me. I just feel like my people will find me if I continue to just put out good information.
Mhm.
Then word will spread. I don't know. Maybe that's a little Pollyanna, but
That's no, that's
that's
good.
my
That's good.
approach.
Yeah. And then one more minute before I get back to you. Like we met at Brand Builders Group, which is a community where we're trying to like grow our business. How has
Right.
Brand Builders Group helped you personally and professionally?
Gosh, so so many ways. I meet people like you. I'm in starting my third year with them. I think a big mental block doctors have is we think, "Ah, we're doctors. We don't need to do this. We don't need to get out in public and do stuff. If people want to see us, and I'm so smart, I went to all these schools and all trained for all these years. People they're gonna come see me, and I'll take great care of them when they're here in the clinic. But what's happened is all these other people have put all this information out there, and it's like, we're the doctors. The doctors need to be out here putting good information out to the public. But for the longest time, we felt like, oh, we didn't need to do that. Or
Mm.
honestly, it was below us, or it was, I remember thinking, if I told my residency program in training, like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast, like I would have been embarrassed to
Mm.
tell them that,
Mm.
because I would have felt like I would have gotten kind of like, why are you doing that? Are you trying to be an influencer? Are you trying to, just make a lot of money? So I think there's this mental block we need to get over, that as doctors, really, we can help more than just people in the four walls of our clinic. We can help people, and we really need to be helping people, because there's this sort of big PR issue with science and medicine, and we need to get in front and say, we are trying to help people. Again, the system's broken, but we want people to do well. We want people to be healthy. So Brand Builders has helped me realize that we all have a personal brand, right? Whether you are a physician, a music producer, a stay-at-home mom, like, who we are is our personal brand. And I think AJ will say, like, if you aren't actively curating it, other people are, right? The
Mhm.
reviews, the unhappy customer, the one unhappy customer out of 1,000, right? Like, so you have to. That's the world we live in, right? Like, you are your personal brand, and I do think doctors need to lean into that more. And we've really sat back for too long and thought we didn't, but the
Mm.
time is now.
Good. Great answer. Yes. Mandy, over to you.
Well, I love this idea that you bring up as service as a differentiator. And and in my world, like my next book literally is called Building Your Best Business Bedside Manner. I am all about business bedside manner. And it was actually born out of a couple bad experiences at a doctor, just with a bad bedside manner. And I think what you're talking about transitions not just to the medical industry. I think
Mhm.
every industry could really benefit from really leveling up their service as a differentiator. So I'm curious, in your practice, you had listed two or three things that feel like, they're staples in your practice. How do you implement that? Like, is this a part of your daily meeting? Is this a part of your training? Is this a part of like these staples of like, I call my patients at night, or we're going to get to know our patients by asking these two or three questions? Like, how are you implementing this service as a differentiator in your business? Is there a
Yeah,
system to it?
I know. There should be, Mandy. We should make it more
It sounds like there
systemized.
is.
We're kind of mom and pop. We're a family. I knew my business partner. I trained with him for a year when I was a fellow. And
Mhm.
I do think it kind of starts at the top, right? You can't
Yeah.
expect your staff to come in and have a great attitude if your attitude sucks, right?
Mhm.
I'm not saying everyone. We've had we try to hire for culture. Like, that's number
Mhm.
one. We'll say we can't train attitude, but we can train someone how to numb, or not biopsy, but how to answer the phone, and stuff like that. But we can't train attitude. So we love referrals. Like, we love our staff to find other employees. So we'll say, like, ask your friends, like, we like you, so hopefully who you hang out with is similar. So um, it's not really as formalized, but we're pretty selective on, like, who we hire, and they stick with us, right? Like, there's some people we're talking about, oh, the revolving door of employees. I mean, we laugh, we can't get them to leave, right? They want to stay on part-time forever. um but again, I think it's like how you model. And I think about this with my kids, because they're 10 and 11. It's like, I can say all the right things, I can read all the right books, But if I'm not modeling the behavior that I want, they see right through that. And now that they're older, they'll kind of catch me on it, on little things that I do that I'm like, oh shoot, you're right. I wasn't I wasn't being my best self, and I did raise my voice, even though I tell you guys not to. So I think it starts at the top, modeling the behavior you want, hiring the people who you feel like their attitude, it fits with the cultural vibe. And you're not always going to get it right, but what do they say? Like hire slow, fire fast, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, take your time. But yeah, I was just actually having dinner with friends, and we were talking about it's like you go to these places and you go to check out or whatever. It's like you're interfering with their time, right? People can't even look you in the eyes and smile or say, "Hey, how are you?" I think that especially in this world where so much of what we do is automated and we're at home, like we're losing that human connection. So if you can really harness it in your business, people remember that. And so that's what we try to do, right?
It sounds like you're doing it though, and I would hang your hat on that because it's much more special than you probably realize. Like
Hmm.
your patients and your employees, obviously, they're in it with you for the long haul, and it could be just that little secret sauce. Okay, this
Yeah.
also, I've always been curious about this, especially in the medical profession. If you look at your pie chart, your business mix, I think some people think like, oh, it's just appointments and it's treatments. Like, what is that business mix? Is it medications? Is it surgeries? Is it appointments? Like, what does that look like? And if you don't have to share anything too proprietary, I'm just curious, like, what your top three revenue generators are in a business like yours.
Yeah. So we mostly do, especially when I started, we were pretty much 90% what's called Mohs micrographic surgery, which is a technique to remove skin cancer, which unfortunately continues to exponentially rise. These are things like basal cell carcinomas, squamous cell carcinomas, and then melanomas. As we're living longer, we're spending more time outdoors. We're noticing these cancers develop after decades of UV exposure. So I would say that was the biggest. That was our biggest revenue generator in the practice. We've since kind of evolved to now do I joke that I'm Dr. Pimple Popper ATL, and I actually saw her at a
My husband's gonna
conference.
love you.
I saw her at a conference and I said, please don't have your lawyer send me a cease and desist letter. Just send me a text and I'll stop. But we do a lot of cysts, a lot of lipomas. People think, oh, I have to go to a hospital. I have to be put under general anesthesia to have this done. And that's not the case. Not every dermatologist wants to do these larger surgeries, but my partner and I really love it. And so that's become a big part of what we do as well. And then my patients, there a lot of them are aging with me. I'm aging, and so I've definitely taken an interest in sort of longevity, regeneration. I want to be the best version of myself. I don't want to look like I'm not myself or I'm 18, but I want to have the healthiest skin possible. So aesthetics, doing aesthetics, doing them. And I think people get scared because they see really bad aesthetics and they think, oh, I don't want to look like that. But it can be done in a way that helps the skin heal, gets rid of like pre-cancers, things like that. So that's also become a big part of what I do as well. And I think people gravitate to see me because they see that I have a very natural approach to my work. And so I get the people who also want that look. I'm not getting the Kim Kardashian proteges, right? I'm getting people who have a different look, which is fine. There's someone for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think there's so much we don't know about the medical profession. I'm always fascinated about that piece of it. Like, how do you make your money? What is it? How is it more people in or out? So that is super helpful. I am curious about trends. We talked about like TikTok trends and stuff like that, but how have you seen people caring for their skin change
Mm.
over the last 10 years or so?
Well, I guess I'll thank. Remember the Golden Girls? Remember
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they looked? And then someone did a picture. I was at a talk where I guess the Golden Girls really weren't that old
No,
when
they were
they
in their
did
50s.
right.
Yes,
They
they
were
were
in their
so
50s.
young.
They did a
Yes.
picture of the Golden Girls, and then they did a picture of the Sex and the City stars when they did their like redo movie. And they were like, these people are the same age, right?
Yes.
Like
Mm.
it blows my mind. We're aging and we're trying to age so much better, right? And 50 today is not the 50 of our parents' day or grandparents, right? I'll see, like, I just had a gentleman the other day, 95, and in my head he was like 70 at the most, and then
Mm.
I'm typing his note at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, he's 95. So I think we're learning so much more about how people age. It's not just your age isn't just a number, right? It's not just your chronological age. It's genetic factors. It's epigenetic factors. Really, it's how you're living your life that impacts how you age. Are you moving? Are you getting exercise? Do you smoke? Are you tanning? Are you drinking a lot? Like all these things make an impact. And now, people don't think, oh, 65, you're going to just go to the retirement home and like, waste away there, right? Like 65, people are like, heck yeah, I'm going to go climb this mountain and everything. So I just think there's a much more um, vigorous interest in lifespan and health span. Well, I'm sorry, health span over just living a longer time. And I just think that picture of like the Sex and the City stars and the Golden Girls, like how different 50 is between a
Yeah.
few decades.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
I was watched the Emmys yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday was 25 years since, or no, was it 50? No, it was 25 years since Golden Girls premiered. And
Mm.
it was like,
Wow.
that's just 25 years is a short period of time
I mean,
to
to
see
me,
how we age
that's
differently, right? Like it's such a short period of time. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's
Well,
amazing.
we've kind of come to the point in the show where we flip the script and we let you ask both myself and Mandy a question. There's no question that is off limits. So, who do you want to ask a question to first, and what is said question?
Ooh, I don't want to be the person who now makes you change, where you're like, not every question is appropriate.
Oh,
Now,
do that. Oh, do that. Do
I how do
that.
you guys know each other? How do you two know each other?
Oh, okay. Well, this is we answer this one frequently, so we're going to give you a bonus after this one. I love how
Okay, okay.
Mandy tells the story, so I always defer to Mandy to tell the story.
Well, Amani and I volunteer for a trade organization together. Amani was the president of this organization. I was just a volunteer. And we were on a committee for a conference, and people were talking about how to get more attendees. And I had just been interviewed on a LinkedIn Live a couple weeks prior. And I was like, why don't we just do a LinkedIn Live? It's easy, it's 10 minutes. And they were like, great idea, Mandy. Go for it. As they do, right? It's like your idea, and then you're the one that has to do it.
Exactly.
And I had never done, I had been interviewed on, my book had just come out. So I was literally in the middle of like a podcast tour, but I had never done my own. I had no idea where to start. And Amani had his own podcast. So he's like, I'll do it. And he was a live streamer on Twitch at that time. So he insisted that this podcast be live. And I was so nervous about that. But anyways, at the time, we started these 10-minute LinkedIn lives to promote registration for this conference. And
Okay.
we did it for 6 weeks leading up to it. And we had so much fun together that after we were like, how can we continue to work together? And that's when this podcast was born. And that's when Amani insisted we do it live, which was stressful, but we do it. That's fine now. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
we wanted to do it monthly. And then Amani's like, no, we have to do it weekly. And now we do it weekly. So this has evolved over the last 3 years. And we met in the trade organization, but now we're business partners who
Yeah.
interact sometimes more
Amazing.
frequently than with like my family or my husband, quite honestly. Yeah.
Right? Your
Yeah.
Yeah.
your work spouse. It is
Yeah. Yeah.
funny how these little it's like that one connection, right?
Yeah.
Makes such a difference, and you never know where and when that's going to happen, and it's not always some big, it could just be on the
Yeah.
trade show floor, right? So
It
Yeah.
was
that's
not big.
amazing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like it was. Amani, I don't know if you agree with this. I think about this sometimes. This wasn't like a big earth-shattering lightning
Mhm.
bolt moment. It was just like, do you want to do a podcast? Yeah, do you? Sure.
Yeah.
What should we talk about? Let's talk about this. Okay, let's do it. Like it was very
Yeah.
casual. So
Very
yeah,
gradual. Yeah. Very gradual. Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you both. You can think, whoever wants to go first can go first. What is your number one goal to accomplish before the end of the year?
Ooh, okay.
Money, you go.
So I'll go first, and I'll say I'll do personal and professional. I will say professional. I just want to grow my coaching program, so grow the amount of people that I'm coaching and have a more consistent kind of flow of that. That's a big one currently. Personally, I will say just kind of continue because I do pretty well with like my Peloton workouts, but I need to add on strength training. So that's a big one there. So I'll do those two for me.
Okay.
Yes. Mandy.
I have two personal, one professional. So personal, I would like to thrive through this whole home renovation, being married at the end and not being broke. Those are two,
Yeah.
those are two things. We're
Those
almost
are
there.
important goals.
So important, and it's almost breaking me every time, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. And the second thing is I've been really into strength training the last 2 years, and chin ups are a thing for me right now. So I'm
Oh,
just trying to master chin ups, and I'm doing assisted chin ups and pull
yeah.
ups right now. It started with 3 bands,
Yeah.
now it's two. At some point, I did one by just one by myself without anything, but I'd like to be able to do more by myself. That's like a more
Yeah.
personal thing. And then professionally, I just want to continue to scale my conference business. It's my conference business is so successful. It's so great. I have the best customers and the best partners in the world. I just want to continue to scale that and service the heck out of that business, and then grow my coaching and speaking business
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. Mhm.
Good. All right. Good
Amazing.
answers. Now, I want to take you back, Dr. Mina, when you were graduating from University of Hartford with, BS. You actually did a BS in health science and dance, which we didn't even ask about, but we'll talk about that
I
next.
know. I wasn't a very good dancer.
But if you were to meet that version of Dr. Mina, what advice would you give your younger self based on your life's experiences so far?
Oh my gosh. So I feel like that was just the other day, but it was about 25 years ago. And yeah, so I just quickly, like, I thought I was going to be a dancer, ballet dancer. Like, that was, I didn't even like apply to traditional colleges for that. I was going to dance. And then 3 years in, I got injured, and I kind of realized, like, I love it, but I wasn't going to be like the prima ballerina at an amazing company. And I needed to maybe look at something else, to do something else. But my identity was being a dancer. Like, it was so hard to think about myself not being Mary Alice the dancer, right? And then I kind of pivoted to medicine, where it's like medicine also, you get really in wrapped up in that identity too. But anyways, I would have told myself, I would say congratulations, because I took a huge leap to go from dance, and then I told my family I'm going to go to medical school, and I didn't even really know how you did that, but I was like, I bought a book, and I was like, well, these are the steps, and I can follow steps and make it happen. So I think I had courage to do something totally random and off base and totally not what was in my trajectory. And I would just tell her to, like, keep going and not to be afraid. And I would say, because I think I tend to do things. I'm not fearless, but I'm not afraid to take risks. But what I do have a problem with is, I think, oh, I'm going to work really hard now, and then once I reach X, then I can take a break. Then I can spend time with my family. Then I can take care of my health, right? And you know what's going to happen, right? That once I get to med school, then I'll take care of my health. Or once I get to residency, then I'll find a spouse. Or once I get to fellowship, then I'll focus on my marriage, right? There's always something. And I think I just need to, at times, not worry about doing and achieving, and I would just tell her to, like, enjoy the journey and not always be counting a life will be better when I get to
Mm,
this, because there's always something else. And I just need to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. That's what I'm trying to do now, right? I feel like I have lots going on, and I'm so excited for all these projects, but I also just need to live in the moment and just kind of enjoy the journey. So that's what I would tell her.
great advice. Great advice.
Good
Over to you,
advice.
Manny, to close us out.
Yeah, I have two final questions unrelated to each other, so buckle up. The the first question is, you mentioned you are modeling behavior, whether that's in your business or for your kids. If you were to model behavior or just give advice to other medical professionals, other people with their own private practice like you, what are two pieces of wisdom that you want to impart on them?
So I would say I get two things. I would say focus on mindset. It's really easy to get negative, to get down, to get frustrated, to get bitter and like resentful. When I love taking care of patients. What I don't love is a lot of the like bureaucracy and things that are out of my control. But to focus on, well, I can't change that, but I can change how I act and how I respond. And I still love seeing patients and take care of patients. So letting that sort of be helping me remember that's why I'm doing this and to change the things I can. Um, so and to I would say find your peers, find your network. A lot of times, if you're a solo practitioner or just work with one person, it can be kind of isolating, and you don't have your you may have online friends and things like that, but like um, find your group of people. Like I found this group of physician entrepreneurs and they inspire me unbelievably. Like anytime I'm like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. And then I see, oh my gosh, they're doing all these things. Like they're not letting limitations stop them. So I think really everyone, like find your people. There's someone for everyone. Find the people who inspire you, they encourage you, they motivate you, and to focus on your mindset because it's easy to get negative, it's easy to get down, and then I think bad habits start to happen, and it spills into your personal life and all that. So I think it's just important to remember those things and yeah, find that's helped me immensely is just having my people that I can go to and just working on the things I can change.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, how you've given us an hour here. This went by so fast. And
Is it
I
really already?
it's already so and I've learned so much. I can't wait to re-listen to like write down some things. How can we support you? How can we lift you up? What do you got cooking in the hopper? What should we follow you? Like what can we do to lift you up?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I'm at an exciting time because in addition, I thought, I don't have enough going on. I am opening a small kind of micro practice south of Atlanta where I'm not taking insurance, but I'm really doing a lot of focus on sort of preventative longevity, regeneration with skin health, where I can spend 45 minutes with my patients and really talk about sort of a strategic plan for their skin health. So I'm excited about that. I'll still be in my procedural surgery practice as well, and still doing my podcast and all that. So I would say if you haven't listened to the podcast or subscribed on YouTube, it's the Skin Real, REAL. I think you guys have a little ticker, and I'm super excited to have an app. So I feel like I have a lot of content in a lot of different places between a blog, YouTube, all the things. And so I have an app where I just put it all together, and I'll probably have some like special podcasts and things like that on it. So you can get it wherever you get your apps, and it's also called the Skin Reel.
That's
Nice.
awesome. I didn't realize you had an app. I'm gonna check that out. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I love that.
Did
That's
did
great.
did Viden help you make the app?
they did, and so I'm gonna have a subscription coming out soon with a little extra, but there's tons of free stuff in there as well. And yeah, Biden did it. I had yeah, they've been great to work with. So shout
Nice.
out to Biden.
Okay, cool. Well, we appreciate the time you spent, all the tips, the wisdom, the expertise. We got to rewatch this, get our skincare routines in check. So we just thank you very much. We're gonna put you back in the green room really quickly, give you a round of applause, but just thanks for being a really, really wonderful guest. And this is a applause for Dr. Mina right here.
Woo, thank you guys.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yes.
Amani, thin to thick. Thin to
Thin to
thick.
thick. Okay. Yes.
Serum to moisturizer. That's a
Uh,
big takeaway for me. Yeah.
duly noted. Yes. Yes. So
Hmm.
another great episode in the
Yeah.
books. Mandy, who do we have to look forward to next week?
We have a time management and productivity expert, Allegra Ramos,
Okay.
on next week. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in live. And if you're listening to this on the replay or on your podcast platform, please don't forget to rate and review. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And thanks again to our guest today, Dr. Mina. And with that, we will see everyone next week, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. on the West, for another episode. Mandy, great show.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.